Rick's Atlanta group. It all started with a sheriff waking up from a coma, because apparently the apocalypse waited politely until Rick Grimes opened his eyes. He stumbles through Atlanta like a man late to his own nightmare, and somehow becomes the most reluctant leader in TV history. Rick's group wasn't just the first, they were the blueprint for chaos. You had Shane, the best friend who turned into a walking testosterone problem. Lori, the queen of bad timing. Carl, the kid who made Stay in the House a national meme. And Glenn, the pizza delivery guy turned zombie-slaying MVP. The Atlanta crew taught us the #1 rule of The Walking Dead. It's never the zombies you should fear. It's the humans who still think they're in charge. Every loss hardened them. Every new survivor broke them a little more, and by the time they left Atlanta, they weren't people anymore. They were ghosts in training. They didn't just survive. They set the tone for how brutal this world was going to be. You live, you fight, and if you're lucky, you die fast. Hershel's farm. When the group found Hershel's farm, it looked like peace. Sunshine, green fields, a big white house. It was like AMC accidentally switched to a Hallmark movie. But behind that southern charm was denial wrapped in religion. Hershel thought walkers were just sick people. The man was out here keeping zombies in his barn like pets, trying to cure the apocalypse with faith. For a while, it worked, until it didn't. Shane snapped, Rick lost control, and when that barn door opened and Sophia walked out, innocence died with her. The farm wasn't survival, it was delusion. The moment it burned, so did their hope. After that, they stopped being survivors and started being soldiers. The prison. Now this was the golden age of survival. The prison arc was peak Walking Dead. Rick went full warlord dad mode, beard included. The prison wasn't just a home, it was their first civilization. Fences, food, community, hope. But just when things looked good, the governor showed up with a tank, a grudge, and zero chill. What made this era hit so hard wasn't the action. It was the illusion of control. Walkers outside, sickness and betrayal inside. Hershel lost his head, Carol lost her mercy, and Rick lost his sanity. Again. The prison reminded us that no matter how high your walls, humanity always finds a way to tear itself down from the inside. Woodbury. The suburban fever dream where people pretended the apocalypse didn't happen as long as their lawns stayed trimmed. The governor ran it like a dictator in dad jeans, charisma, charm, and a casual aquarium full of heads. He was basically if Ted Bundy ran a homeowners association. For a while, it worked. Safety through fear. But perfection doesn't last long in The Walking Dead. When Rick's group stormed in, Woodbury fell, not because of walkers, but because the lie couldn't hold anymore. It wasn't survival. It was denial, with clean streets and fake smiles. Terminus. If Woodbury was fake peace, Terminus was fake hope. Those who arrive, survive, they said. Yeah, unless you were on the menu. Gareth and his crew weren't monsters at first. They were survivors turned cannibals by betrayal. They got tired of being prey and decided to flip the food chain. Cannibalism wasn't evil. It was efficient. Horrifyingly efficient. But when Rick's group showed up, that efficiency met pure rage. That red room scene, still one of the coldest moments in TV history. Terminus proved there were no heroes left. Just people doing whatever made sense to stay alive. The claimers, then came the road dogs, the claimers. Their whole law was, you see it, you claim it. No hierarchy, no rules, just primal dominance. Joe led them like a drunk philosopher who thought fairness meant first dibs. Every second they were on screen felt like a ticking time bomb. And then came that moment. Rick biting Joe's throat out. That wasn't survival, that was evolution. That was Rick shedding the last of his old world morality. The claimers existed to show us what happens when civilization's mask finally falls off. No guilt, no humanity, just instinct and violence. Alexandria. Gated paradise that looked like it was built by Pinterest moms who somehow skipped the apocalypse entirely. Perfect lawns, dinner parties, solar panels, it all felt wrong. Deanna Monroe ran it like a small-town mayor clinging to the old world. But Rick's crew had seen hell. They didn't fit here, they invaded it. The wild animals were suddenly inside the gates. Rick knew the truth. Kindness doesn't work in the apocalypse. It gets you killed. Eventually, Alexandria hardened, and for the first time, civilization started to feel possible. Ugly, but possible. Hilltop. If Alexandria was the dream, Hilltop was the hustle, a farming colony trying to keep peace while secretly bowing to Negan. Gregory, the human embodiment of a paper cut, led it through cowardice. But then Maggie walked in and flipped the script. Hilltop went from a coward colony to the backbone of the rebellion. Maggie didn't lead because she wanted power. She did it because nobody else would. Hilltop became the moral compass of the war, proving survival isn't about strength, it's about will. Then came the kingdom, a literal fairy tale in a nightmare world, led by King Ezekiel, a man with a tiger named Shiva, and a voice straight out of Shakespeare. At first, it felt ridiculous, but that was the point. The kingdom wasn't about pretending, it was about believing. Ezekiel gave people something to live for, not just survive through. But when the saviors crushed them and Shiva died, reality hit hard. Still, Ezekiel didn't lose his humanity. The kingdom's fall was tragic because it proved that even the best intentions can't outlive the apocalypse. The saviors. The saviors weren't just a group, they were an empire. Negan ruled through charm, fear, and a barbed wire bat named Lucille. Give half your stuff or give your life. Simple, effective, terrifying. And it worked. Negan didn't just lead, he controlled. He broke people, rebuilt them, made them grateful to obey. The sanctuary ran like a twisted factory of faith and fear. But when Rick's alliance finally rose up, that fear cracked. And once fear dies, empires fall. The saviors weren't evil, they were just desperate. And desperation always has an expiration date. Then came the Scavengers, or as fans called them, the trash people. Living in a junkyard, speaking in broken robot poetry, led by Jadis, the queen of chaos herself. At first, they felt like filler, but they were actually what happens when humanity fractures too far. No emotion, no loyalty, just deals and betrayal. Jadis didn't care about sides, she cared about survival. And when she finally left to join the CRM, it made sense. Because in this world, isolation doesn't kill you fast, it kills you slow, until you stop being human altogether. Oceanside, the silent coastal community built entirely by women. Survivors who'd lost everything to the saviors and decided they'd never bow to another man again. They didn't make speeches or alliances, they just survived, quietly and efficiently. For them, survival wasn't about hope, it was about vengeance wrapped in peace. But when they finally joined the fight, it reminded us that even in this nightmare, unity still matters. Oceanside didn't just live, they endured. Every group told a different story, from innocence to insanity, from hope to horror. Together, they weren't just survivors, they were every version of humanity under pressure. Some built walls, some built empires, some built lies. But in the end, they all learned the same truth. No matter how you rebuild the world, the dead always win. And if you think these were the only survivors worth remembering, wait till the next episode. We're diving into the forgotten factions, secret experiments, and the dark forces shaping the world beyond. Because in The Walking Dead, survival isn't the end, it's just the beginning. So hit that subscribe, drop your favorite group in the comments, and tell me, who got it right? Alexandria's Dreamers or Negan's Empire? Because in the apocalypse, everybody breaks eventually.